What is happening, people? Welcome to my F1 channel. Welcome to Peter on Pole. My name is Peter in pole position. And I'll tell you what, let's talk about pole position, shall we? Lewis Hamilton takes pole at the Brazilian Grand Prix, which is now called the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. But good stuff to see, to be fair. Big up to everyone that's locked in right now. Shout out to my dog, FP1. Big up to Will. Hope you're good. Hope you're doing well. If you want to jump on the stream, mate, let me know. I'll send you the link in the comment section. But yes, as I said, Lewis Hamilton, I mean, man, you know, Mercedes, what on earth? Where did this pace come from last weekend to this weekend? More importantly, what's happened to the Red Bulls? That's the question I want to ask. I want to know what on earth has gone on with these Red Bulls, because I'm very, very surprised. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm very, very, very surprised at the pace, or let's say lack thereof, from the Red Bulls. Christian Horner mentioned that it would be lucky to get a car on the front row of the grid, which was a worrying sign. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, before we get all excited, Lewis Hamilton has taken a 5-place grid penalty because he's got a new engine. And maybe having the new engine is kind of what is the reason for this great pace that we seem to have from Mercedes. But, you know, Lewis Hamilton, as it says there in the ticker below, that he's taken pole position ahead of the sprint race, the sprint quali, the sprint race, whatever it is you want to call it. But, you know, is this something to be, you know, has this opened the title again? You know, because as far as I'm concerned, when Max Verstappen overtook both Mercedes lap 1, turn 1 at the Mexico Grand Prix, that was the title done. Okay, that was the title done for me. But obviously, we've come to this weekend now. Obviously, Friday night quali. You know, we still got to get used to that. I'm definitely not used to it. Friday night, interesting, but hey ho. But yeah, you know, I thought this title was over. I thought it was finished and done with. But it's very, very strange that Mercedes seem to have something. Maybe it's just, you know, one weekend. Maybe, you know, because Verstappen had comments and he mentioned that, you know, when you have a new engine, it's just for the weekend. You know what I mean? You get a good weekend and then everybody else catches up beforehand. But yes, Lewis Hamilton is the winner of qualifying. Let me put it that way while I remove this. But, you know, this is a big, big deal. What's his name? Max Verstappen finishing in second, sandwiching himself between the two Mercedes was extremely important. It was a very, very good point for Red Bull to try and get that car in there, because, you know, the sprint race is going to be very, very, very spicy. It's going to be very interesting. Who knows what kind of weather we're going to have? Who knows whether it's going to be wet, whether it's going to be dry. It seemed like it was very windy today. So a lot going on there. But yeah, we'll talk about Q1. We'll get into all the good stuff later on on the show. The first thing I have to rant about, however, is the track limits. Okay, what is with these track limits? All of a sudden, practice 1, which happened earlier today, no track limits whatsoever. Everybody in turn 4 was taking the mick out of that track limit. Well, there was no track limit to begin with. So turn 4 rather, everybody was excited, hitting them curbs, hitting them bumps nicely. So between practice and quali, we're talking, you know, an hour, 2 hours difference. They decided we're going to stick, you know, a track limit on turn 4. And the crazy thing is, big up to the pit stop fracker, we were talking earlier, there is no reason for even making it a track limit, because you don't gain an advantage. It's hella bumpy, so you're definitely losing time. So what's the beef? What's the beef? What is with these track limits? Track limits ain't nothing in Sao Paulo, so there's no need for it. And it was deleting times left, right, and center. And I felt sorry for the man them that were trying to get their track times in. But you know, that was my rant about track limits anyway. Stroll out in Q1. I mean, whew, what are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? What are your thoughts on Lance Stroll being out in Q1? The Aston Martin as a whole. I mean, Sebastian Vettel. I mean, you know, he went out in Q2, but Lance Stroll. I mean, what is it going to take to make that Aston Martin, you know, a delicious qualifying car, a performing car, as good as it is, the look of the car? You know, it's always a baffling thing for me, where I don't quite understand why the car's not doing good. Why is it not doing good this year? Comment below on the reason why that is. And of course, Q1. If I want to talk Q1, I cannot ignore this. Okay, Mr. Latifi, Canada, stand up, because on one Canadian is not bigging you up, whilst one is not letting you down. Here comes Latifi, who by the way is qualified ahead of George Russell, Mr. Saturday himself. Unbelievable scenes, Jeff. How has that happened? What happened with George Russell's car? Was his car not great? Is there something that I'm not entirely, am I not understanding something in particular? I'm not entirely sure. But, Nicholas Latifi, big up to yourself, whatever it was, whatever you did over the weekend, whatever you've done over the past week or so, we are loving it. I'm here for it all day long. Nothing against George Russell. Got time for George Russell. I'm here for all of it. However, Latifi, let's give us props. Let's give him props where it's due. By the way, Mazepin. Did anybody see this guy crying? Getting all welling up, and he's all getting emotional because he made a mistake in his final lap run in Q1. Now let's keep it a buck. Yeah, Mazepin, your car is awful. Number two, you haven't outperformed that car, which may or may not be your fault. Yeah, it is what it is. But bro, even if you didn't make the mistake in that final lap, you were finishing last. You were finishing last, Mazepin. Why on earth was he crying? Can somebody tell me? Somebody holler at me and tell me why on earth Mazepin was crying, because there was no need. There's no need to get emotional. There's no need. You were finishing last anyway. So it does not matter whether you made the mistake or not. Look, it's been a tough year for him. It's been a tough season. I understand it. Before even a car touched the track, before tyre hit tarmac, all we had was nothing good to say about Mazepin. Mazepin has been absolutely rinsed all season long. Obviously, he's done some behaviour that we don't approve of. However, now we were into the season, week after week after week after week, he's been giving us nothing but banter because his quali is shocking. His racing is shocking. Now, if the Haas becomes a better car next year, let's wait and see. But Bedrin, why are you crying? I have not got a Scooby-Doo. Do me a favor, guys. Anybody that's locked in right now, watching on the replay, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you like Formula One talk, if you want to jump on the stream, it's an interactive stream, by the way. So it's not going to be just me chatting breeze. I want you lot to jump on board as well. Let's talk about qualifying today. Let's talk about Formula One news as a whole and in general. But yeah, Mazepin, yeah, let's move on, shall we? Let's move on while we can. Listen, it's time to talk about Mr. Pierre Gasly. Did you guys see his pace today? Did anybody see his pace? Comment below. Explain to me why his pace, especially in Brazil, he seems to do phenomenally well in Brazil. But to finish ahead of both Ferraris and both McLarens, listen, Mr. Pierre Gasly, fair play to you, my friend. Fair play to you. It was outstanding. And you know what? Every time Pierre Gasly, every time Gasly has a good, say, quali or a good race, it's always under the radar. It's always under the radar. We never really talk about him. We never really hear much about him. We don't really, we just see the results. And we're like, hang on a minute. Or, when the race has gone a bit quiet, you're sort of looking up and down the pecking order, and then you see Gasly there. He kind of he sticks out like a sore thumb, because an AlphaTauri in the mix of the Ferrari and the McLaren next to the Red Bull and Mercedes, you're thinking, what's he doing over there? But fair play to Mr. Pierre Gasly, man. That car is his. He has found his place. Should we be getting ahead of ourselves? Should he be in a better car? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. I'm just as long as he is performing as well as he is, I'm here to see Mr. Pierre Gasly continue. That is what I want to see happening. Big up to Pierre Gasly. Let's hope he has a good sprint race, and let's hope he has a good race as well on Sunday. So it'll be very, very, very interesting to see what Pierre Gasly has to say. Comment below on your thoughts on Pierre Gasly. Let me know, what is it about the car or him, the driver, because obviously Yuki's not necessarily performing in the same breath. However, to finish ahead of the McLarens and the Ferraris in qualifying, listen, the AlphaTauri is about it. Let's talk about the Ferraris and the McLarens, okay? Like, getting the better of both McLarens. You saw both Charles Leclerc as well as Carlos Sainz finishing finishing ahead of both McLarens, which, all of a sudden, my beloved McLaren, what's going on? You guys were ahead in the constructors all this time, and then now, now you want to hurt my feelings. You want to hurt my feelings, McLaren. Is that what we're doing right now in 2021? You want to hurt my feelings, okay? Your car looked good this season. Your car was banging this season, and all of a sudden the Ferraris are catching up. Fair enough, they did change. They did do some upgrades. Forgive me. They've done some upgrades, and since then it's like, okay, all of a sudden the Ferrari has slowly been getting better and better and better, out qualifying these McLarens. Listen, Seidel, you're the guy. You're a top guy. Trust me. I'm all for you. Yeah, I'm all for it. And Zach Brown and the team. Listen, whatever it is, get your finger out and make sure we get this car finishing at third in the constructors. I cannot have Ferrari finishing ahead of McLaren. Let me repeat that. I cannot have Ferrari finishing ahead of McLaren. It's unacceptable. We can't do this. We can't be having this, can we? You know? So, listen, McLaren probably will get it together. Who knows? Let's wait and see. Listen, if you guys want to jump on the stream as well, you can do. There's the link. We've put it in the comments section there. There is the link below. So jump on, man. I'll be more than happy to talk Formula One for you. But I thought I'd do a reaction video of qualifying today, Friday night, chilling. I thought, yeah, you know what? Let's jump on the stream. Why not? And it's not often I get to do this all the time. So when I can, I'd like to do that. Big up to Martin, regular viewer. Big up yourself, Martin. I think the Mercedes reliability is letting McLaren down. That's interesting take. Interesting take. I never actually thought of that. Maybe you're onto something there. The McLarens all of a sudden, even Mercedes this year hasn't been great in terms of the works team. They haven't been great, and it's to their standards. They're still in a title race and what have you. But maybe that's actually probably a good observation. It's not something I saw at all. But whatever it is, they need to sort it out. Both Mercedes and because we don't want this title race to be over now. Yeah, whether you're a Verstappen fan, whether you're a Hamilton fan, you do not want this title race to be over. We still got another 3 more races after this to go. We want it to go to the wire. We want it to go as far as it can. So seeing Mercedes kind of have some pace is making me think, okay, good, because I was sure that as soon as turn 1, lap 1 in Mexico City and Verstappen done the dance of both Bottas and Hamilton, I thought, holy smokes, this title's over. It's done. It's finished. But the pace or the lack thereof with the Red Bull is making me think, hang on a minute, we might need to pump the brakes there. Big up yourself, Martin. I'll keep my eye on it, actually. I'll keep my eye on that, in fact, just to see what on earth exactly is going on with the McLarens. And, is it just Ferrari have got better, or have the Mercedes engine, is the power unit got worse? Let me know in the comment section below. Random question, by the way. Why is there another practice session tomorrow? Can anybody tell me? Why is there another practice session tomorrow? Because, I'm ready, after the qualifying today, they were showing the schedule for tomorrow. I thought, okay, boom, what time's the sprint race on? I'm getting excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm seeing there's 2 shows. So I looked at the first show. I was like, I see practice 2. What? Why are we having another practice 4? We've just had practice earlier today. We've done qualifying, and then we're going to add another practice? Come on. What's that all about? What is that all about? I do not understand. That turn 1 was scary hours. Let me tell you, Martin. I sat there in shock. I sat there and I said, that right there is where Max Verstappen has won his first Formula One World Championship, because it was unbelievable scenes. It was unbelievable scenes. Comment below if you think that there should be another practice session before the sprint race, even though we had qualifying today, okay? Let me know. And as a whole as well, guys, let me know your thoughts on the sprint quali, the sprint race, whatever the hell it's called. Let me know your thoughts on the whole situation, because I'm confused by it all. I don't really know how I feel. Is it too short? Is it too long? We've been talking about it all year, so I understand if this question is a bit annoying and it kind of bugs a few people. But, I don't know what to make of it. I genuinely don't know what to make of it. I'm very, very skeptical. Let me say, I'm very skeptical about it. I feel like maybe if it was 10 laps, maybe I'll be interested in it. But the fact that it's 17, or whatever the percentage is, depending on the circuit, I don't know. It's interesting. Big up to Uzair. What's going on, fam? I can't lie. Mercedes pace shocked me. Yeah, it was surprising. I have to admit, it was surprising. I genuinely think, though, like Max was making the point, when you've got a new engine, you expect it to be good. You expect it to be an upgrade. And yeah, I think it's a bit, you know, maybe over time, like, you know, the next race or the race after, that engine just might become normal and, you know, sort of, you know, become normalized, if you will. So yeah, but it did shock me at the beginning. And Hamilton was on this vibe. He was ready to go. And I thought, this is a guy who wants to defend the title. That's clearly what it is. But yeah, it definitely did shock me. That's for sure. Sprint quality is dumb. Oh, geez. I'm not against it, but the way it's executed is stupid. Yeah, look, there are things they need to iron out for sure. It's not perfect. It's definitely not at the perfect stage. I just kind of think it's just a bit too long because it just feels like another race kind of thing. Which, you know, I like to watch racing, but when it doesn't really mean anything because it's just like what quali for the race. Yeah, you know what I mean. Let's make it spicier. Let's do something. Let's do something else with it. Like, why give it so few points? Why award pole position in a race rather than in the quali session? Fantastic points, absolutely fantastic points you're making there. Why are the points so few? What is it, 3, 2, 1? I mean, come on. You know, I might as well just do the fastest lap. You know, I get the same points finishing third. And then, of course, yeah, you know, you're not even getting awarded for pole position, you know, for another race, basically, rather than it is for a qualifying session. Yet qualifying is all about pole position. That's what we care about. Why would you have a race to decide the grid? Fantastic point. I'm with you. It definitely needs tweaking, for sure. You're there with fantastic points there. Absolutely, it does need tweaking for sure. It's one of those where, you know, as it's brand new, so there was bound to be like issues. There was bound to be something wrong with something new implemented in place. But they will iron it out. The thing is, next year we're having how many of them? I can't remember. Is it 3 sprint races next year or however many it is? And has there been any upgrade? Has there been anything new that they've, you know, maybe improved on? Hopefully they do. But yeah, interesting stuff. Just a few stats very quickly before we end the show. Sebastian Vettel out again in Q2, which is like, I can't remember the last time he even qualified into Q3. But this is the first time Sebastian Vettel has failed to reach Q3 in Brazil since 2009. Since 2009. That is shocking scenes, by the way. That is absolutely shocking scenes. I couldn't believe that when I read it. For the McLarens, though, as I was moaning about the McLarens earlier, not having that pace, it's the first time that there's been a double Q3 appearance for McLaren in Brazil since 2014. Since 2014, what an upgrade, what a shift that we are having with these McLarens. Maybe I'm being too harsh on them, I don't know, but I just don't like the fact that Ferrari are overtaking and the pace is there, okay? I'm not impressed. However, I can't argue with that. So yeah, so those are like some of the hot things that came out of qualifying today. Let's get through to your comments before we close the show. Big up to everybody that's watching, by the way. Please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new and you like Formula One talk. Let's dive in. Let's talk all things Formula One. But they had F2 as an example, and it's still messed up. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they had F2, and they had the whole sprint stuff going on there. They just haven't changed it. It's just ridiculous, Martin. Absolutely. 5. You know the ones. 5. 23 races. Is it 3 double headers or 3 triple headers next season? It's just like, yo, Formula One, pump the brakes before you burn out. I understand money. You know, what did Lewis Hamilton say? Cash is king last season, right? He's not lying there. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, let's just be, you know, let's just think. Let's just think, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking for, is to think. What are your predictions for tomorrow's race? It's a weird one. You know, yes, everybody's going to be bunched up. Everybody's going to be, you know, sort of, it's going to be tight for a few laps. Great thing about this circuit is, I love Interlagos, by the way. I absolutely love that circuit. The great thing is everyone's going to be bunched up together. So let's see, you know, we might get some world-class overtaking. It might be just action-packed throughout. Like, you might have to catch your breath throughout. And, you know, if that's the case, then, you know, happy days. Let's have a look and see what we're gonna get on you know, in the sprint race tomorrow. But what's your predictions? Who's gonna win the sprint race? It clicked for me. Hamilton, I think, is just gonna blitz. He's gonna absolutely just blitz the entire weekend. Well, the sprint race tomorrow. Of course, he's got the 5-place grid penalty, hasn't he? So at least, you know, the worst he wants to finish is either. Does that mean 5th he can finish is the worst, or is it 6th? Like, big up the maths crew if you lot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not entirely sure. It will be interesting. excuse me, Liberty Media overall have saved the sport since they bought it in 2017. But I think in the long term, they will destroy the sport with NASCAR style gimmicks. Big up Uzel on that one. Yeah, they did save the sport, in fairness to them. Absolutely. No, they absolutely did. I can't even argue with that. But yeah, it's one of those, like, it's very gimmicky, isn't it? There's a lot of gimmicks that seem to be happening now. You know, hopefully we get that good balance between pure Formula One racing as well as, you know, yeah, entertainment. It is what it is. Like, it's what will help the business grow. It's what will help the sport, you know, reach more eyes. We want more Formula One fans, don't we? So we're hoping that there's like a, you know, they meet a thin line here between both, you know, between entertainment as well as, you know, production as well as pure racing. Rosborn and Stefano De Micali are just being shills. Listen, man, it's like, who would want to be them? You know, like, it's a great job and everything else, but the demands, the pressure, the what is at stake for them, because with people like us, we are watching it. They're trying to bring new fans in. They're trying to keep the old fans still in there. They're trying to, you know, bring people who had left. You know, they've got a big task on their hands. So we shall see. It's annoying that, for example, the regulations are changing. Maybe it might make Formula One better. Who knows? But the fact that now that the pack has kind of got together a little bit, and then you bring a whole new thing, and I feel like, you know, it's just gonna open up everything again. So it's one of those where I'm a bit here and there about it. But yeah, man, that was a good qualifying session, I must admit. It was good to have Friday night Formula One. Listen, I'm down for it, man. I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it one bit. The whole sprint gimmick, you know, like we said, it needs to clean up a little bit. But we move on. We head over to the sprint race tomorrow, as well as the race on Sunday as well. And there's just 3 races left. Let's see, can Max respond to what Lewis has done today? Because I tell you what, Red Bull need to have a very good plan, a very, very good plan. Big up to Sergio Perez finishing in P4 for Quali, as well as Bottas, you know, in there in 3rd. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be a nice little battle. Gasly, I wonder, you know, can Gasly do something on a sly? Let's find out and see. And then obviously the battle between the Ferraris and the McLarens, that's going to be a whole nother situation there. Last one here from is I think we need these regulations because the current cars are absolute rubbish for on-track racing, to be honest. You're possibly right. Do you know what? You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I just hope it does not separate. You know, like when new regulations come in, every single time new regs come in, you know, somebody just leaves, you know, whether it was the Ferrari in the early 2000s, whether it's, you know, the Red Bulls, you know, sort of the early 2010s. And then you had, what's it called? Then the Mercedes, you know, they've just, you know, barely any competition in these seasons. You can pick out a few, you know, like when Alonso was close with Vettel, obviously Rosberg and Hamilton, it's the same car. Verstappen is giving us some entertainment this year. It's like it's few and far between. I want like every other year where there's a big battle, you know, the one. So look, what we hope for, you know, it makes the competition better. It makes the racing more quality and make these cars stronger, okay? Because these cars are too feeble for my liking. Big up to Mike, F1 Fanatics, and Stephen as well. You know, this is why they jump on the IndyCar scene, because look, they like the fact that the cars don't just break. It's good racing, it's end-to-end racing, and the cars are not like soft. Whereas here, you know, you saw some of the damages that they were having to adjust front wings earlier today, rear wing, and just for going over some curbs. It's like, come on, we don't need this, we don't need that. But yeah, that is going to wrap up the show. Big up to everybody that's locked in. Remember to share and subscribe to the channel as well. And, you know, I'll be on as often as possible. Remember, it's an interactive stream, so you can always join me if you ever feel like you want to come on and have a talk. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you like stuff like this, if you like Formula One content like this, jump on board and hit the bell notification so that you'll know every time I go live or every time a new video hits. But with that said, people, Lewis Hamilton starting at the front, starting number 1 in the sprint race at least. He takes pole position. But with that said, people, lights out.